Cardinals hit the road this week and look to get their first win against the Las Vegas Raiders. Tough matchups on both sides of the ball. Alongside former Cardinals quarterback Drew Stanton, I'm Dani Sureck, and we're going to look at those matchups, talk about how the Cardinals can come out on top on this episode of Card Stock presented by SeatGeek. Drew, when you look at this Las Vegas pass rush, very disruptive players in Max Crosby and former Cardinal Chandler Jones, who signed with the Raiders this offseason. Crosby coming off an 8-sack year, Jones a 10.5-sack year. However, it's more than just sacks to be disruptive in the pass rush. How can the Cardinals offense neutralize this Vegas pass rush?
Yeah, well, it starts with staying ahead of the chains, right? Being in a manageable down and distance, but also keeping them off balance, right? Not letting them pin their ears back, not just sitting there saying, okay, we're going to run the ball on first down. You try to move the pocket. Really what you want to do, change the launch point of Kyler. They did a really nice job in the previous week for the Chargers to be able to not let them settle in, not to let them pin their ears back and come after the quarterback, because as soon as you do that, when you have two dynamic pass rushers, you can't just slide the line one way or the other. Both these guys are coming off the edge, and both guys that are very, very good at getting to the quarterback if you allow it to on third down.
Vegas didn't just add a dynamic player on the defense in Chandler Jones. They also looked at the offense when they brought in Davante Adams, 5-time Pro Bowl, 2-time All-Pro wide receiver. He's paired with tight end Darren Waller. In Week 1, that duo accounted for all but 75 of the Raiders' 295 total receiving yards. How can defensive coordinator Vance Joseph draw up an effective game plan for those two?
Well, I think it's really difficult because they both play from the slot. You know, you try to double somebody, you try to be able to get help underneath, over the top, in and out. It's just really difficult because everybody tries to do the same thing. The personnel that we have, hopefully will get some hands on him, not allow him to get into his route. Davante Adams is where it starts and where it stops. If you can alter what he's doing, if you can make Derek Carr uncomfortable in the pocket, kind of like we saw last week with the Chargers, they did a good job of affecting him, putting him behind the chains and forcing him into passing situations where he threw it up for grabs, he turned the ball over, short field for our offense to try and go out there. So you've got to be able to affect him, get him off of his spot. But how do you stop Davante Adams? You don't. You try to contain him. You try to contain Darren Waller. They're so good, but they also have other guys like Hunter Renfrow that have been able to produce for them over time. The best thing you can do, though, is just not let Derek Carr settle in.
Against the Chiefs in Week 1, it was tight end Travis Kelce and wide receiver Juju Smith-Schuster, their top tight end, top receiver, who accounted for 200 receiving yards. How much of what the Cardinals will learn from film against that game can that help them this week against the Raiders?
Well, I think you can also learn what not to do. You know, you take it and you pick and you choose. They did a really good job, though, of trying to figure out, okay, don't give them two-way goes. Don't let him have the ability for Davante to get freedom and space and all of these things that they're looking to do. They're going to stick within the confines of their offense. They're not going to try and recreate things. Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes. Derek Carr is Derek Carr. He's going to operate with what he wants to do. Josh McDaniels does a really good job of calling plays, getting his guys in a position to be successful. They'll look at some of the stuff, they might add it, but again, there's corrections that will take course throughout the entire week. Vance Joseph will do these things. The best thing they can do is try to get after the quarterback. Those run blitzes on second down will be key. Buda Baker's done such a good job of that in the past. What they can do to kind of mix up coverage, again, try and create confusion. Don't let those guys get on the same page, because when they do, they're going to be a very tough project to stop the entire Sunday.
A few tough matchups Sunday from Vegas. Cardinals hit the road. It's a 1:25 kickoff. For Drew Stanton, I'm Dani Sureck. Thanks so much for tuning into this episode of Card Stock.